What if the health advice everyone's been giving you is actually keeping you weak and dependent instead of strong and independent at 90? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 5 unconventional habits that research actually supports, but most seniors never try. Habits that keep me thriving at 90 while my peers struggle. And the first habit on this list is something your doctor probably told you not to do, yet science shows it's one of the most protective things for longevity. I'm 90 years old, and I lift weights, eat real butter, stay up past midnight when I feel like it, and say yes to activities that make my family nervous. 10 years ago, my doctor and my adult children thought I was being reckless and foolish. Today, I'm more mobile and independent than people 20 years younger than me. And the research proves my unconventional habits were right all along. Habit 1. I eat full-fat dairy and real butter, not diet foods. The first unconventional habit that keeps me thriving at 90 is eating full-fat dairy products and real butter instead of the low-fat and fat-free products that everyone's been recommending for decades. Recent research from Tufts University shows that seniors who consume full-fat dairy actually have lower rates of frailty and significantly better overall health outcomes than those who religiously eat low-fat or fat-free versions. Even more surprising, studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found absolutely no link between full-fat dairy consumption and heart disease in older adults, completely contradicting what we've been told for years. The fat-free movement was based on faulty science from the 1970s that has since been thoroughly debunked, but most doctors still repeat the old advice out of habit. Your body at 90 needs healthy fats desperately for hormone production, brain function, vitamin absorption, and cellular repair. Depriving yourself of these essential fats in pursuit of some outdated low-fat ideal is actively harming your health and vitality. Low-fat and fat-free diet foods are almost always loaded with added sugar, artificial sweeteners, and chemical additives to replace the fat and make them taste acceptable. These products don't satisfy you or provide proper nutrition, leading to constant hunger, overeating on empty calories, and genuine malnutrition despite eating regularly. I watch seniors at my community center eating fat-free yogurt with their lunch, then complaining they're starving an hour later and reaching for cookies and crackers to fill the gap. Meanwhile, I eat full-fat Greek yogurt or real cheese and feel satisfied for hours without needing constant snacks. Your body knows the difference between real food and processed diet versions, and it keeps sending hunger signals until it gets the nutrients it actually needs. The low-fat diet trend over the past 40 years has left countless seniors malnourished, physically weak, mentally foggy, and constantly hungry because they've been avoiding the very fats their aging bodies desperately need. Fat is essential for absorbing vitamins A, D, E, and K. Without dietary fat, you literally cannot absorb these critical nutrients, no matter how many supplements you take. Fat also keeps your skin healthy, your joints lubricated, your hormones balanced, and your brain functioning properly. Studies from Harvard Medical School confirm that seniors who eat adequate healthy fats maintain better cognitive function and have lower rates of dementia than those on low-fat diets. The irony is that the diet advice meant to keep us healthy has actually made us sicker and weaker. Switch to whole milk, full-fat yogurt, real butter, whole-fat cheese, and full-fat sour cream starting today. Eat real food that actually satisfies you and nourishes your body instead of processed diet versions that leave you nutritionally depleted and constantly hungry. Stop reading labels for fat content and start reading them for ingredient lists. Real butter has 1 ingredient, while margarine has a dozen chemicals. My neighbor Irene followed the low-fat advice religiously for 30 years and became increasingly frail and weak despite doing everything her doctor recommended, while I've been eating real butter and whole milk for decades and remain strong and energetic at 90. Stop buying diet foods today and start eating real, satisfying, nutrient-dense, full-fat options that your body actually needs. Habit 2. I lift heavy weights, not just walk or stretch. Why do people automatically assume that 90-year-olds should only walk gently or do mild stretching when research proves we should be lifting actual weights with real resistance? Studies from Tufts University and research published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society show conclusively that seniors in their 80s and 90s who perform heavy resistance training gain significant muscle mass, dramatic strength improvements, and measurably better independence, outcomes that walking alone simply cannot achieve no matter how many miles you log. Walking is excellent for cardiovascular health, and I do it regularly, but it doesn't build or maintain the muscle mass you need to get out of chairs without help, climb stairs safely, carry your own groceries, or prevent devastating falls. Only progressive resistance training with actual weight does that, and the research on this is absolutely clear and undeniable. Yet most doctors still tell 90-year-olds to just walk and avoid weights, advice that virtually guarantees continued muscle loss and eventual dependence. Walking is good for your heart and your mood, but it doesn't provide enough resistance to stimulate muscle growth or even maintain existing muscle at our age. Your muscles need to be challenged with progressive resistance, meaning weight that's actually difficult to lift, to trigger the biological signals that tell your body to maintain and build muscle tissue. Gentle activities feel nice, but they don't stop sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that steals independence from millions of seniors every year. Studies from the Mayo Clinic show that even frail 90-year-olds can safely gain muscle mass through supervised resistance training. Yet most seniors never try because they've been told weights are dangerous or inappropriate for their age. This advice is not just wrong. It's actively harmful because it condemns seniors to progressive weakness. Seniors who only walk or do gentle stretching continue losing 3 to 5% of their muscle mass every single year, leading inexorably to frailty, frequent falls, broken bones, and eventual complete dependence on others for basic daily activities like dressing, bathing, and using the toilet. This progression isn't inevitable aging, it's the direct result of inadequate muscle maintenance. The difference between seniors who remain independent at 90 and those who end up in wheelchairs or nursing homes often comes down to muscle mass, not genetics or luck. Research from Johns Hopkins confirms that muscle mass is the single strongest predictor of independence and longevity in people over 80. You simply cannot maintain independence without maintaining muscle, and you cannot maintain muscle without resistance training. Start lifting actual weights, dumbbells, weight machines at a gym, or heavy resistance bands that provide real tension 2 to 3 times per week without fail. Start with whatever weight feels challenging but manageable, then progressively increase the resistance every few weeks as you get stronger. Focus on major muscle groups like legs, back, chest, and arms, with exercises like leg presses, rows, chest presses, and bicep curls. At 90 years old, I can still lift my own groceries from the car, get up from a low chair without using my arms, and climb a full flight of stairs because I've been lifting weights consistently for 25 years, something my doctor initially strongly discouraged as too risky for someone your age. Start strength training this week. Your future independence depends entirely on your muscle mass, not just your good intentions. Habit 3. I say yes to adventures and take calculated risks. The third unconventional habit that keeps me thriving instead of merely surviving is saying yes to new experiences and adventures instead of playing it safe and staying home where nothing can go wrong. Research from Johns Hopkins shows clearly that seniors who continue taking calculated risks and trying new activities maintain significantly better cognitive function, have dramatically lower rates of depression, report higher life satisfaction, and actually live longer than those who become overly cautious and risk-averse in their later years. Your brain needs novelty and challenge to stay healthy. Doing the same safe routine day after day literally shrinks your brain and accelerates cognitive decline. Every time you try something new, go somewhere unfamiliar, or challenge yourself with a new skill, your brain builds new neural connections and strengthens existing ones. This is neuroplasticity, and it continues working even at 90 if you give your brain the stimulation it needs. This doesn't mean doing genuinely dangerous or reckless things that could seriously harm you. It means accepting invitations to travel even though it's less convenient than staying home, trying new activities even though you might not be good at them, meeting new people even though it feels awkward at first, and refusing to let fear and excessive caution keep you isolated and stagnant. Risk-averse seniors who say no to everything unfamiliar or challenging create tiny, shrinking worlds where nothing changes and nothing stimulates their brain. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that this excessive caution, often encouraged by well-meaning family members, directly accelerates mental decline and physical deterioration. Your family wants you safe, but absolute safety means absolute stagnation, which is its own form of danger. Seniors who become overly cautious and stop trying new things experience rapid cognitive decline, social isolation that damages both mental and physical health, depression from lack of stimulation and purpose, and a dramatic decrease in quality of life that makes every remaining year feel empty and pointless. I've watched contemporaries transform from vibrant, interesting people into fearful shut-ins within just a few years of retiring and playing it safe. They stopped traveling because something might go wrong, stopped joining groups because they might not fit in, stopped learning new things because they might fail. This retreat from life doesn't protect you, it kills you slowly from the inside out. The research is absolutely clear that novelty, challenge, and calculated risk-taking are protective factors for longevity and quality of life. Say yes to the next invitation you receive, even if your first instinct is to decline because it's easier to stay home. Try one genuinely new activity this month, a class you've never taken, a place you've never been, a skill you've never learned. Take that trip you've been considering but finding excuses to postpone. Life is meant to be lived fully and engaged, not cautiously observed from the safety of your living room while you wait to die. Last year, at 89 years old, I took a train trip across the country that my adult children thought was too risky and tried to talk me out of. And it ended up being the best experience I'd had in years, filling me with energy and keeping my mind sharp for months afterward. Don't let another year pass, watching life from the sidelines while you still have time to participate. Start saying yes today. Habit 4. I ignore the early-to-bed rule and sleep when I'm actually tired. Here's something genuinely unconventional that surprises people. I don't force myself to bed at 8 p.m. or even 9 p.m. like everyone expects seniors to do. Sleep researchers at Northwestern University found that forcing seniors into rigid early bedtimes can actually worsen sleep quality significantly and create genuine insomnia, while allowing natural sleep patterns to emerge, even if that means staying up until 11 p.m. or midnight, improves overall sleep satisfaction and daytime functioning. Your body has its own natural circadian rhythm that doesn't necessarily match society's expectations about when seniors should sleep. Some people are natural early birds, others are night owls, and there's nothing wrong or unhealthy about either pattern. Forcing yourself into a sleep schedule that doesn't match your natural rhythm creates constant sleep problems and makes you feel like something is wrong with you when your body is actually functioning normally. Many seniors lie awake in bed for hours, starting at 8 p.m. because they're simply not actually tired yet, which creates terrible anxiety about sleep and makes the problem progressively worse, night after night. You start dreading bedtime, watching the clock, worrying about not falling asleep, and this anxiety itself prevents sleep. Studies from the Mayo Clinic show that this pattern of forced early bedtimes leads many seniors to use sleeping pills they don't actually need, creating dependence and side effects that cause more problems than they solve. The simple solution: Going to bed when you're genuinely tired seems too easy, so people reject it in favor of rigid rules that make them miserable. I spent years forcing myself to bed at 9 p.m. because I thought that's what I was supposed to do, lying awake until midnight anyway, until I finally gave myself permission to just go to bed when I was actually tired. Forcing yourself to bed when you're not genuinely tired creates chronic insomnia that ruins your sleep quality and makes you exhausted during the day, increases dependence on sleeping medications that cause confusion and fall risk, and makes you feel broken or abnormal when your body is actually working fine. Many seniors develop genuine sleep disorders not because anything is wrong with them, but because they're fighting their natural sleep patterns based on arbitrary rules about when old people should sleep. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where worry about sleep prevents sleep, which increases worry, which prevents sleep even more. Breaking this cycle is often as simple as abandoning the rigid rules and listening to your body's actual signals. Go to bed when you're genuinely tired, even if that's 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight or later, and stop judging yourself for not following some arbitrary schedule. Pay attention to your body's actual tiredness signals instead of watching the clock and following rules. If you're alert and engaged at 10 p.m., there's absolutely no reason to force yourself into bed for 2 hours of frustrated wakefulness. I often stay up past midnight reading, working on hobbies or watching movies, then wake naturally around 7 a.m. feeling completely rested. A pattern my doctor initially insisted was unhealthy until I proved through a sleep study that my actual sleep quality was excellent. Tonight, go to bed when you're actually tired instead of following arbitrary rules that don't serve you. Habit 5. I spend regular time with much younger people. The fifth unconventional habit that keeps my mind sharp and my outlook current is that I deliberately maintain friendships and spend meaningful time with people in their 40s, 50s, and even younger, not just exclusively with other 90-year-olds or people my own age. Harvard Medical School research shows that seniors who maintain genuine intergenerational friendships have measurably better cognitive function, stay more current with technology and cultural changes, remain more engaged with the present instead of living in the past, and report significantly higher life satisfaction than those who socialize only with same-age peers. Younger friends challenge your thinking, expose you to new ideas and perspectives, help you with technology that would otherwise leave you behind, and keep you engaged with the current world instead of retreating into nostalgia. This cognitive stimulation from cross-generational interaction is powerful protection against mental decline. Younger friends keep your mind sharp in ways that same-age friendships simply cannot, because they bring different perspectives, current knowledge, and fresh ideas that force your brain to adapt and grow instead of stagnating. They talk about things you're not naturally exposed to, introduce you to new technologies and cultural trends, and prevent you from becoming the stereotypical senior who talks only about the past and complains about everything modern. Research from Johns Hopkins confirms that cognitive diversity, being exposed to different ideas and perspectives, is one of the strongest protective factors against dementia. When you only socialize with people your exact age who share your exact experiences and perspectives, your brain stops being challenged and starts declining. Younger friends provide the novelty and mental challenge your brain needs to stay healthy. Seniors who only socialize with same-age peers often become increasingly isolated as those friends inevitably pass away or become too ill to socialize, fall into rigid and outdated thinking patterns that disconnect them from modern reality, lose touch with current technology and cultural changes that make them feel irrelevant and left behind, and experience accelerated cognitive decline from lack of mental challenge and diversity. I've watched peers shrink their social circles down to only people born within 5 years of their own birth year, and those circles get smaller and smaller as people die until they're left with almost no one. Meanwhile, my social circle spans 5 decades of ages, which means I always have friends available and engaged. and I'm constantly learning new things from people with different perspectives and life experiences. Join intergenerational groups and organizations that attract mixed ages instead of senior-only groups. Volunteer with organizations that bring together different generations working toward common goals. Take classes at community colleges where you'll interact with students of all ages, or simply make an effort to befriend your neighbors regardless of their age. Stop segregating yourself by age, as if people outside your generation have nothing valuable to offer you. My weekly coffee meeting with a 52-year-old neighbor who teaches me about current technology, social media, and modern culture keeps my brain sharper and more engaged than any crossword puzzle could, and she genuinely values my perspective and life experience in return. Reach out to someone from a younger generation this week. Both of you will benefit from the friendship and perspective exchange. These 5 unconventional habits aren't dangerous or reckless. They're scientifically supported choices that go against conventional stereotypes about how seniors should live. Eat real, full-fat food that satisfies you and nourishes your body properly. Lift actual weights to maintain the muscle mass that equals independence. Say yes to adventures and new experiences instead of hiding from life. Sleep according to your body's natural rhythm instead of arbitrary rules. And maintain friendships across generations to keep your mind sharp and your perspective current. Research supports every single one of these habits, even though they seem unconventional or contrary to traditional senior advice. You don't have to accept weakness, isolation, excessive caution, and mental stagnation just because you're over 70, 80, or even 90 years old. The seniors who genuinely thrive instead of merely surviving are the ones who question conventional limitations and live according to science and their own capabilities, not according to society's diminished expectations. If these unconventional habits challenged your thinking about aging or inspired you to try something new, hit that like button right now. Comment below and tell me which habit you're going to try first, or share your own unconventional choice that others think is crazy but works for you. I genuinely want to hear your story. Share this with any senior who's tired of being told to take it easy and wants to actually thrive and live fully instead of just survive and wait. Subscribe for more honest, research-backed advice that challenges the conventional limitations and low expectations that society places on seniors.